I can't be the only one out there who feels like everything these days is politics. You turn on the TV, and even if you don't go to a political channel, which most people do these days to be fair, but even if you go to a TV show, politics somewhere in there. You go to watch a movie, politics. You open up the latest book from your favorite author, and staring right back at you is politics. You know exactly what this author thinks about every issue, despite never having asked to. I don't know about you, but I personally have a little bit of politics fatigue. Every damn time I see anything from anybody, I walk through the halls at school, people are talking about politics. People are posting on social media about politics. Politics has taken over everybody's everything these days. And I can understand why, because politics are now more attached to people's morals than they used to be, whereas back, for example, in the Eisenhower era, which party you voted for mainly came down to what kind of economic style you preferred, whether you wanted like higher or lower taxes compared to higher or lower social programs or whatever. People did tie it up to kind of an extent, especially before and after Eisenhower, but compared to earlier, this is a really morally charged, call it political sphere. Nowadays, politics doesn't just concern yourself with, whether or not you want the taxes higher or lower, or whether or not you think we should have more welfare money going here or there, or blah, blah, blah. Politics is now going down to the deep levels of what you consider reality to be almost. Do you think there are more than two genders? Do you think that a baby in the womb is an actual human life, or do you think that it's fine to kill that thing? This is a bit deeper into that moral sphere than the questions that politics concerned itself with back in the day. And yes, I know there were very morally charged questions back in the day here and there, but it's not quite the same. And look, I have my personal beliefs about politics. I have my own sides of these issues, and I'm not going to get into them right here. Because everybody does that on every YouTube channel they have, every book they have, whatever. I'm sick of it, and I don't want to be a part of it. But suffice it to say that no matter what side it's coming from, I just don't want to hear about it anymore. I read a book from an author who I really didn't like in terms of his writing. It was just very poorly written. And then it also happened to be politicized in a way that I agreed with, but it just made me dislike the book even more because I want somewhere that I can go to escape the constant torrent of politicized content. I want reading to be a safe haven from the events of the modern era where, oh no, will this group have rights? Or will this be taxed more? Or will it become socialist? And look, I'm not a market analyst, but I kind of think most of the market probably agrees with me. Think about it. If you're a reader, and let's say you're a liberal reader, let's say you like the left, just giving an example, and there's a book that has very liberalized politics in it, and it has a strong female character, and she goes on, a spiel about how she overcame all this discrimination, and then there's the diversity, and there's this and that, and they explicitly mention it. I don't care what race characters are, but when they make a big deal about what the race characters are, that's when it gets annoying. But let's say you agree with all that. If the book is poorly written, you're not going to care. It's not going to make you like a poorly written book. If the book is well written, then it's also not going to matter because that's just a well-written book. You would like a well-written book if you're a reasonable reader, no matter what kinds of politics it has, as long as you agree with those politics. Generally, people are like that. But if those politics were gone, you'd still like the book because it's a good book. But if there are politics that you disagree with, generally that will irk people a lot more deeply. Then, if the book's poorly written and they disagree with it, they're just going to set it on fire. But if it's well-written, but they disagree with the politics, then they will want to like your book, but feel like they can't. Almost that they don't have the right to like your book. And they're not going to want to recommend it to other people, and they're going to read it, and they're going to be flipping through the pages, they're going to be like, oh yeah, this is great, oh, shut up. So you're not really going to sway anybody to your side. You're not really going to make anybody like your book more by adding politics into it. And there are at least some people who you will make like your book less. And that goes without mentioning all those besides for myself, who I would imagine would be a lot of people, who have politics fatigue and don't want to see any kind of politics at all. They just want to read about interesting characters in interesting situations, doing interesting things, and they don't want to hear about Donald Trump and they don't want to hear about Kamala Harris, and they don't want to hear about this rights or that rights or blah, 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 blah. I think that the best rule for an author to follow is that a reader should be able to read 100% of all of your works, everything you ever publish, and have no idea what you think about social issues. Even if you're writing a story where it's like specifically the kind of situation, the kind of character where this political stuff makes the story better, rather than just you purposefully pushing the story there because that's what you want to have in the story. If it makes the story better, I'd say tread very, very carefully into that area. But don't make a bigger deal of it than you need to. And don't use it as a soapbox to demonstrate your own personal beliefs. If you're going to write a character who believes anything, don't be afraid to write a character who disagrees with you. It doesn't make you a bad person. You can write a character who you think believes in the worst crap on earth. It doesn't reflect on you. And it doesn't need to be the kind of message that you're sending to the audience. Not everything needs to have a message at all. You can have characters who have political and social and philosophical viewpoints, but at the point where the reader feels like, okay, this author is trying to virtue signal to me. This author is trying to say to me, hey, I believe this, you should believe this too. And that's the impression that I've gotten from a lot of books. At that point, they're just gonna check out.